Hi, Sam.
Hi, I'm so excited to see you. It's
I
been
am
so long.
so excited to chat with you today. It has been way too long since I have seen you in person. So I'm super, super excited to talk with you today. So before we dive in, I'm just going to do a little intro of you, but just want to welcome everyone to the For the Pro series, where I speak with amazing leaders in the wellness or wellness adjacent space. And today I'm talking to Sam Ettus, an old friend of mine, and all about her incredible career and what she has going on now. And she's going to dive into a little bit about financial wellness, which is clearly a super important topic. So I'm going to just introduce Sam. I'm going to read this because I don't want to miss one thing because Sam is so incredible. So Sam Ettus has devoted her career to advocating and supporting women in the pursuit of their dreams. In her quest to help women achieve financial independence, she launched Park Place Payments, which we're going to talk about today. Sam is a best-selling author of 5 books, which I contributed to number 2, a renowned speaker and the co-host of the What's Her Story with Sam and Amy podcast on iHeartRadio. I mean, so much great stuff happening, Sam. So excited to talk with you today. So let's start, first of all, with just a little bit about your background and then how it led you to start Park Place Payments.
Well, I've always been passionate about helping women achieve in every area of their life. And so my last book, which was called The Pie Life, was all about how to thrive professionally and personally at the same time. And the one group of women, I went on a big book tour. The one group of women I was unable to help were the ones who had left the workforce, wanted to get back in, and found that there were no opportunities aside from, MLMs, like selling makeup, skincare, clothing, essential oils to their friends. And when I dug into it, I found that 98% of them were losing money. They weren't even breaking even.
Wow.
So I was like, I was brought up by a mom who really was obsessed with financial independence for women. And she would point out women that I knew growing up, her friends, and she would say, oh, she actually hates her husband, but she can't leave him because she has no money of her own. Never be like her. And it was kind of a harsh way to deliver the lesson, but it's true. And now that obviously
And it
we have
stuck
so
with
many,
you. I mean, it
yeah,
stuck with you.
and we have so many mom friends that get into situations that they have no choices. They feel like their hands are tied. And so I was always passionate about helping women be financially independent. And at that moment, something clicked for me. And I was like, what if I could train this group of women to, instead of selling makeup to their friends, what if they were selling financial services to their pediatrician and their, kids dentist and their hair salon and their favorite bookstore. And they already had this incredible network. And so I spent 2018 testing this idea. I trained women in 6 different cities with completely different backgrounds. We had doctors and flight attendants, and we have an Olympic gold medalist, and, we have teachers and former social workers, and to see if they could sell credit card processing to their local businesses. And based on their success, we raised our angel round last year, and then we launched officially on Maria Bartiromo. And now we're in the middle of finishing our seed round, and we have 400 account executives across the country who are really doing phenomenally well. So
That's
it's like,
incredible. 400
yeah. And I
people.
have to say, like, there's people will say like, oh, you used to be on the Today Show all the time, and now you're talking about credit card processing, like how unsexy. And I'm like, no, that it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my career, because I am helping sidelined populations become financially independent again. And there's nothing more rewarding.
Right. It's not about the product. It's about what you're doing for these people's lives.
Exactly.
So how did you even come up with that idea? I mean, I understand how you came up with the idea of you wanted to help these women gain financial independence when you were on your book tour, but how did you come up with this specific idea of how to do it?
So as you know, I do a ton of public speaking, and I was at a conference about 10 years ago that was like a boondoggle conference for the top guys in the credit card processing industry. I had no idea what it even was. Okay. And these guys all showed up on private planes. One was kind of more like frat boyish than the next. And I said, hold on, where are the women? These were the top performers. I'm like, where are the women? Where are the people of color? And they kind of laughed at me, and they were like, there are none in this industry. And at that moment, I mean, this was 10 years ago. At that moment, I thought, okay, one day I'm going to come back and crush these guys when I'm like 60 or 70. And then when I was on book tour 4 years ago, and I was a keynote speaker at an MLM conference, and I was meeting all these amazing women. And I was like, hold on, why aren't these people selling credit card processing to their local businesses? And today, the group we're competing against is 30,000 white men who are a lot like used car salesmen. In their tactics, there's all these hidden fees. The price is always more than they say it's going to be. There's no service. And so it's a really weird thing to be able to disrupt an industry with honesty and great service, but that's what we're doing.
That's incredible. And that's really so amazing how you took this experience from, like you said, 6 years ago or so when you were at this conference with then your experience, 6 years later on this book tour, and you sort of like married them to create this, like you said, this company that's going to disrupt or is disrupting the industry.
And it's really funny because there's like no women in this industry still. So when I go to any conference or whatever, like my team and I, we stick out like sore thumbs, but I love it.
Amazing. I love that.
Like, yeah, we can make such
Stick
a difference.
out all the way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I have a question though, actually. So do you allow men to be executives?
We do. So
in your program? Okay.
You know, what I came to realize is like, there's so many populations that have been sidelined. Like people are victims of ageism starting at age like 50 or 60. People can't get jobs anymore, even though they're 100% physically and mentally with it. And so we have people who've been victims of ageism, of sexism, of racism, just people who haven't necessarily earned what they're worth. We have, for example, one woman who loves her job running biz dev at a hospital, but like is kind of knows she's capped in her salary and like, this is the perfect side hustle for me. So we have a lot of people who do it full time, and we have a lot of people who do it as a side hustle. And because they're all on their own, they're all 1099s, someone can sign on and, they could do it 4 hours a week, or they could do it 50 hours a week. They could stop for 3 months. They can do it whatever way they want. We're the ones servicing the account. So once they board an account, they don't have to touch it again. And we're handling everything for them, but we still, split everything 50-50 with them for the life of the account. So it's all recurring revenue, which is what's really cool, is like every single account executive we have becomes kind of like their own entrepreneur with their own portfolio of businesses.
And that's also incredible now in this whole new work from home period of time, like where people are picking up additional, ways to earn an income, even if they haven't left their current job, or maybe they haven't left their job that gives them, health insurance, but they are doing these side, hustles. So this is the type of thing, like, I'm just thinking about it, like many people that, maybe they don't want to do it full time, or like you said, it's not necessarily just re-entering the workforce. It might just be somebody that, wants that side hustle. So that's an incredible thing to be able to offer them.
And I think, one of the things that is so critical is like, we talk so much about beauty and physical health and fitness and diet, but we don't talk about our financial diet. And especially if you're a mom, the kids in your house are seeing everything from the way you talk about, oh, let's ask daddy, or permission to go shopping. Like all of that gets transferred to them. And that's the kind of relationship then they seek when they're older. So much of this is also about role modeling. And I see the confidence grow in our account executives. For someone who hasn't worked in a while and suddenly starts earning her own money, the confidence is extraordinary. And I think that's a big part of it, right? It's like so much of our wellness has to do with our confidence. And you don't feel confident when you're not earning money. It's really hard.
Huge. And I was just going to add, that was actually my next question for you was, what do you think of the connection between financial wellness and your physical well-being? And so, like you just said, confidence is huge. And if you're not confident and you're not happy and you're stressed, we know how managing stress is so important for our overall wellness.
Well, it's so funny. One of our top account executives, I ran into her husband, and he was like, just so you know, like our sex life has never been better. And I think it's all because of Park Place payments.
I love it. Well, it's so fun, but that's like living a nutritious life.
Right.
You know a little bit about Nutritious Life, how all of these things work together, from stress to sleep to the Love More pillar, which includes your sex life. So that's a perfect example. It's like when your stress is managed, right? And your cortisol isn't raised as much and you're happier and you feel better, right? You're going to have better relationships.
Absolutely.
Like you said, you'll be able to role model behaviors better. So that's amazing. I love that.
There's a huge confidence curve. It's more than a learning curve of knowing, come back and be successful at whatever it is you're going to tackle. And I think when you've been out of it for so long, it's just like anything, right? Even just COVID's done that to us, where we're so used to being home that even just thinking of like, what's it going to be like? What's re-entry going to be like? Like, it's hard for us to envision business travel again or anything like that. And that's the same curve, the confidence curve that people have when they haven't worked in a while is, how am I going to have these conversations? Oh my gosh, I haven't done this in a while. This is not my domain. And we see that like initial ramp is really difficult. And then once they start achieving, once they close their first accounts, which we really handhold them through, it just becomes like, some people who you never expected or like become super ambitious again, because that inner drive never really leaves us. And I think the healthier we are, the more we have access to that.
And I love how it sounds like you really hold people's hands through this, because even something like technology can be intimidating. I know
Oh,
people said the
absolutely.
word Slack the other day to a friend who is not working at the moment, and she looked at me like I had, what do you mean Slack? What? And I explained what it was. She's like, see, that's why I don't know if I'll ever be able to catch up if I go back to work.
It's
I was
so
like,
true. I mean, we help people put together their LinkedIn profiles, because you forget like what you and I might take for granted is intimidating. Even learning every social media tool and understanding Instagram and understanding why your profile on that matters and why on Facebook you should actually have your picture and not a picture of your kids. Like, those very simple things
Mhm.
are sometimes hard to get your head around. And even just like getting used to logging onto Zoom, and we have twice weekly Zoom calls with our team, and anyone can come anytime, and it's just ongoing training. And even that is confidence building. And I mean, I get so excited about the fact that we've formed this community of people across the country who are all in the same boat. And what's interesting post COVID is that a lot of it, we see more financially vulnerable people than ever before, obviously, which is heartbreaking. But we have people now, we have so many talented people. I mean, we have a woman who joined us just a couple of weeks ago whose child, has a lot of learning challenges, and she just couldn't do her full-time job again because she had to be home supervising his Zoom school. And their loss is our gain. But these circumstances are kind of everywhere. We hear these stories all the time. And so we've kind of been positioned pre-pandemic to be a great solution for people in the pandemic because we offer such flexibility.
I love that. And it's funny that you said you have the weekly Zoom calls, because with Nutritious Life and the Nutritious Life Studio, the women and men that have gone through my certification program, we have weekly Zooms as well. And it has actually, the weekly Zooms, we had Zooms in the past, but our weekly Zooms started during COVID as a way
Yeah.
for the community to really connect and support one another. And they're just the most, I'd say it's really one of the things I love the best about my week, is just seeing the community connect with one another and support and empower one another. It's amazing. So it's funny that you brought up the community thing, because I was going to say to you, it sounds like your company and the people that are these account executives for you, it sounds like it really is a community, more than probably any other business like yours in that field. Again, I don't know that,
Absolutely.
I
I
don't know
mean,
the field
listen,
very
we
well, but
dream of like 2 years from now and we can have like the in-person annual conference, and like we'll have to have you come speak there. But like that's the kind of thing like I dream about. But what's amazing is that we already had this like kind of Zoom community before. And because everyone's already around the country, it makes it almost like no one feels left out. I used to commute to an office every day, 45 minutes from my house, to our headquarters in Woodland Hills, because that's where most of the payments people are. And so that's where we opened our office. And now we're all remote. And even my internal team feels so much tighter now because you rely on this like daily morning kind of huddle where you see people. And I think it just makes a difference.
Oh, absolutely. And having people, like you said, if all these people are working at home or part-time, or if they're doing it full-time, but if Zoom is the place you connect, like you said, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You don't need to be in person to connect. And just
So
having
true.
those touch points, though, each week can be so powerful. I really love
Yeah.
that. Like I said, again, I don't know this, I don't know your industry that well, but the credit card processing industry, I definitely don't know. But I could just tell, I'm like, I'm sure other companies are not supporting their peeps like this, right?
Right. I know. We've everything that we've designed is so that someone with zero background in financial services can come in and be successful. And so when I first was training people, it's like you learn so much over time. And I'm sure your Nutritious Life program has changed so much over time. But when I first trained people 2 years ago, I mean, I would spend like a half a day on the numbers and crunching numbers. And then I realized, like, hold on, my full-time team can crunch the numbers. Like, no one should ever have to touch a number. I'll do the proposals for them. And so we literally do all the PowerPoints for them. And then all they do is like bring in leads, and then they present, and then they're done. And then we do everything else. And so that's been like a really good formula for success.
And like you said, they're speaking to these people all the time anyway, like it's their pediatrician so it's really incredible. I love the way you are supporting not just women, but a lot of women, and how you really are using technology, and you're building a community, and you're just enabling these women to have so many more opportunities. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
So, last question for you. What would be your biggest piece of advice for a female entrepreneur starting out? And could be in the wellness space or financial space or any space.
I've always been a huge fan of going after kind of like, who are the people in your industry that you idolize? Like, who are the top people in your industry? Who would be the biggest get for you to be involved with? Start following them on social media, start reaching out to them. The one incredible thing about social media is that it kind of tricks people into thinking they know you. Like, you had a few retweets, a few likes in a row, and people are like, oh yeah, she's kind of part of my network, even though they don't know who you are. And, it's kind of like the modern day version of how you and I met when you contributed a chapter to one of my books. Like, I just cold called you, and then we became friends after that. But like, I just believe in, like, reach out to your top person. Like, you can always get the people that you think are gettable, but everyone's more accessible now than you think. And even, I have a new podcast on iHeart that you mentioned, and we have been going after the women kind of that we feel like would inspire entrepreneurs, would inspire women because of their stories. And so often we hear, like, what does Bill Gates like to read? And what does Barack Obama like, eat for breakfast? And we don't hear the stories of those women. And so our podcast was designed to hear the professional and personal stories of the most incredible women, whether it's Melinda Gates or Abby Wambach or Glennon Doyle or Ariana Huffington. And I think that often we think of those people as untouchable, but more than ever before, everyone is a little more accessible. And so use social media as a tool, go after that person, that thing, reach a little higher than what you think you're capable of.
I absolutely love that. And I recommend something very similar to the people in the Nutritious Life studio. And what I always say, and I know you're going to agree with this, or you're going to get this, I should say, is when we started out, like you said, you called me. We had to literally knock on doors and pick up the phone. We didn't have this world of social media, and we weren't able to like and DM and follow and get to know, even on social media, these people. So I say that to people in my program all the time, like, you have so many opportunities. So I like that you're saying that. It's like you have these opportunities, so
and it's free. I mean, that's the craziest part, is it's like, you don't even pay for the phone call. It's free. You are connecting with people on social media for free. So use LinkedIn with abandon. Like, I'm always, we'll sign some people as account executives, forget to even friend us on LinkedIn. I'm like, connect with us on LinkedIn. It's free. Like, connect with each other, connect with other people. And I think that people don't realize how much access they have now that they didn't have 10 years ago. So use it to your full advantage, whether you're prospecting for new clients or connecting with existing clients.
Absolutely. Incredible. I am just really so inspired from this conversation. Congrats again on this incredible business that you've been building over the past couple of years. Super amazing to connect with you again. And I love that. I'm going to be thinking about connecting and community and empowering, right? Just feeling.
I think the last time I saw you, Keri, I just realized, was when we were both on Access Hollywood together.
Yes,
that was like on set. Accidentally, we were both on set together. Like, was it 3 years ago? I mean, it was
no. It was longer. I think it was longer than that. Yeah. I mean, maybe it was, but I think it could have been longer than that. It's crazy. Time's flying. So even in COVID, even in the time of COVID, I feel like life is just still going by so fast. Yeah. Well, I hope I get to see you in real.
I know, me too.
Again, very, very soon. Thank you so much for doing this. Really amazing tips for everyone. And again, congrats.
My pleasure. Such a fun treat to
Oh,
start
wait,
my
and wait,
morning with
before
you.
we go, actually, where can everyone find you? Where should everyone follow you?
Oh, they can join us as account executives or clients at parkplacepayments.com. And they can listen to my podcast, What's Her Story with Sam and Amy, which comes out every Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Amazing. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Keri.
Bye.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye.